Now that the main section of my layout is complete, I don't even know if I can call this a model railroad. It's really a well-scenic DCC programming track. There's one turnout. That's about all I wanted to put on here. Really, it's more a display for my buildings and cars. And it's good to experiment on for scenery and different techniques. Like anybody that has a nice loop for a while, you get bored with it. So I devised a plan to use some sections. I made these wood sections with the pink foam top. I have some rosin paper on top to draw on. And then as I come up with the plan, I draw on it. And then I'll eventually pull that off once I have the plan solidified. But this is a nice method for me. I have been learning to use SCARM to do some track planning, but as nice as that is, I seem to do a little bit better if I can see it actually in place. For a long time, I had no idea what I wanted to put up here, and this was just a blank area, and I did my very best to keep things off of it because the flat surfaces tend to collect quite a bit. Well, it was actually good that I waited because I ended up taking over a couple of estates of model railroaders and working to dispose of their collections. Well, in that, I was able to get quite a bit of track from the layout that I helped take down and some turnouts. So now I've got the equipment. I'm just going to reuse it to the best of my ability. And I don't know, I don't really have a solid plan, but I just want to do something. So I've started experimenting with some track and even learned how to do a spiral easement on the one curve here. What I like to do most with model railroading is build structures and do scenery. And I think this will be a perfect canvas for that. Although there's not much track, I'll try to make it as interesting as I can. I'm going to do some street running down here in the city portion. One of the things that I acquired from one of the estates were these nice large Bachmann Spectrum City Scenes buildings. I did acquire one at a flea market and then just recently got another one. I think I have almost all of them except the nice Greyhound Art Deco bus station, but I do have the Walthers Silver Springs terminal that I will build. But I was able to acquire a bunch of these DPM kits and some other buildings that will fill out very nicely in this city area. I think the street running is going to be a lot of fun. And where we're standing right now, I'm going to build a staging yard that'll be positionable. Probably be able to remove it. Somehow I'm going to build it on a door and attach it here, and I can take that down when I want to use this space for other things. And then the trains can enter the scene and do a little street running, go around the curve, and do some light industrial switching at the end. I like the idea of being able to look down the street into the buildings. I think cities are very interesting. I'm not opposed to doing more natural scenery, but I'll do that on a different section of the layout. This is going to be a fun opportunity to use a lot of the building kits that I've collected over the years. One of the things that's really been helpful in aiding design of this, because I seem to prefer doing things in real life instead of drawing it out, and I enjoy doing that too, and using some computer design. What I've done is just figured out what the footprint of some of these buildings are. I either get them from the manufacturer's website, or in some cases I have the actual building and somewhat assembled out of the package, so I have the size, and then I can rearrange and figure out what's going to work. And I've made some templates for street widths. And this is working out fine. I'm having a lot of fun. Down at the far end, I have a couple of constraints. One is the electrical panel that's in the corner. Obviously can't have anything blocking that. And then it is a rather narrow space here where I have the DCC equipment hooked up. So it's just going to be rather tight, and I decided to do something more in the open instead of having buildings. One of the things I want to do is have an auto rack unloading facility so I can display all the nice auto racks I've collected over the years, and perhaps do a transload facility out in the open. And that'll be probably a really good addition right there. And then away from the electrical panel, I got all kinds of room, so I can decide what I want to do later. I like this original section. I don't really plan on doing anything destructive to it. But at the same time, I'm not going to connect it to the other sections that I have in here. I've tried to figure out some ways to do that by making some bridges and connectors, but ultimately I don't really have anywhere to go once it goes in here. I could maybe rearrange the track and have it pass through, but for the style of model railroading I do, I really don't mind having two disconnected layouts. These sections are not built to any type of standard. I have two that are identical, well actually four that are almost identical, and then a couple other odd size ones. They're not interchangeable, it's not terribly modular, it just fits the space that I'm working in. But they're very simple boxes with 2-inch extruded polystyrene foam insulation board. The nice thing with these sections is, I guess, I can do what I want with it. Go ahead, lay the track down, put scenery on it. If I don't like it, I can take the section out, rebuild it.